Okay, I am Ashish Kumar, and I have been teaching for the last 20 years the UPSC Aspirants. And now I am going to discuss the first chapter of the Indian Ancient History. This is the Stone Age. Okay, so Stone Age, in this chapter, we will discuss why, this chapter we will discuss in the different phase. The first, why this is known as the Stone Age. The second, we will discuss the evolution of the human beings. And third, the different parts of the Stone Age. And the fourth, the material culture of the different phase of the Stone Age. And also we will discuss the geographical location of the stone, different phase of the Stone Age. And the last, the socio-cultural status of the Stone Age. So this is the first chapter of the Stone Age, and we will discuss the Stone Age in the different phases, the why, what was the reason behind the name of this Stone Age. The second, the evolution of the human beings, and the third, the different part of this Stone Age, and the fourth part, we will discuss the material culture of the different phases of the Stone Age, geographical location of the different phase of the Stone Age, socio-cultural status of the different phase of the Stone Age. So one by one, we will discuss this chapter. Okay. Now, what was the reason why this chapter is known as the Stone Age? Okay, because this is the earliest history of the earliest human beings, and in this age, no any type of the material cultures the peoples know about during this age, means no any type of the material culture the peoples know during this age. Second, Peoples were unaware about agriculture. Only stone was available, and the earliest human beings made the tools with the stone. So, due to this reason, this age is known as the Stone Age. So, due to this reason, this age is known as the Stone Age. Actually, during this phase, the peoples were completely unaware about any type of the metals. So, for their survival, they have they only know about the stone, and they made the stone tools. So that was the reason this culture known as the Stone Age culture or this Stone Age. They were completely unaware about the agriculture. They were completely unaware about the any type of the metals. So due to this reason, this age is known as the Stone Age. Okay, so this is the first phase. Okay, why this age or this chapter is known as the Stone Age? So due to the only availability of the stone tools. So due to this reason, this age is known as the Stone Age culture. And now the next, I am going to discuss the evolution of the human beings. So the second and the third part we will discuss. Now I am going to discuss this point. Okay. So the first, the part of the Stone Age. Actually, due to different socio-cultural status, gradual improvement in their socio-cultural status, this Stone Age is now divided into the three important phases. The first phase, this is called the Paleolithic Age. The second phase, this is Mesolithic Age. And the third phase, this is called the Neolithic Age. This classification only according to the gradual improvement in their socio-cultural status. So this age is known as the Paleolithic Age, Mesolithic Age, and this is the Neolithic Age. And again, this okay. Now the time frame of this Paleolithic, Mesolithic, and the Neolithic Age. 1.4 million years ago, this time frame Paleolithic Age were started, and from the 10,000 or some other historians, the 8,000 BCE, before the Common Era, this was the time period of the Mesolithic Age, and the Neolithic Age, this was the time period of the started from 5000 BCE. Okay, so this is the time frame of the Paleolithic, Mesolithic, and the Neolithic age. It was only due to the socio-cultural status, due to gradual improvement in their socio-cultural status. Again, this Paleolithic age was divided into the three parts. The first part, this is called the Lower Paleolithic age. Lower Paleolithic age. The second phase, this is the Middle Paleolithic age. Okay, and the third, this is the Upper Paleolithic age. Okay, and now I am going to discuss the evolution of the human beings. Okay, one by one. In the Lower Paleolithic age, the first evolution of the human beings, this was the Homo habilis. Okay, okay. This is the Paleolithic age. And now I am going to discuss the evolution of the human beings. Lower Paleolithic age. Second, this is the Middle Paleolithic age. And this is the Upper Paleolithic age. In the Lower Paleolithic age, okay, so this is the evolution of the human beings. In the Lower Paleolithic age, Homo habilis. Homo habilis, this was the first, the human beings, evolution of the human beings, Homo habilis. And this Homo habilis was also known as the hand using man. The first evolution of the human beings. The earliest evidences we found during the Lower Paleolithic age. And also in the Lower Paleolithic age, the Homo erectus groups were found. Homo erectus was a walking upright man. And in the Middle Paleolithic age, the evolution of the human beings was Homo sapiens. And in the Upper Paleolithic age, the human beings is Homo sapiens sapiens. Okay, so this is the evolution of the human beings. In the Lower Paleolithic age, we have the evidences of the Homo habilis groups of the human beings. Is These groups were known as the hand using man. Okay, hand using man, and the Homo erectus groups walking upright, and in the middle Paleolithic age we have the evidences of the Homo sapiens groups, and upper Paleolithic age we have the evidences of the Homo sapiens sapiens. The Homo sapiens sapiens was known as the also known as the modern man. Okay, so this was the evolution of the human beings. So I have discussed the evolution of the human beings. I have discussed the time frame of this Paleolithic, Mesolithic, and the Neolithic age. And in this slide, I have discussed what was the reason why this age is known as the Stone Age. Okay, so the first points I have completed, the second and the third. Now I have to discuss the material culture of the different phase of the Stone Age. Before to discuss the material culture of this different phases of the Stone Age, just I am going to discuss what are the sources to know about this Stone Age. That is also the very important part. Okay. Uh, source to know about Stone Age. So we have the only one source, the rock painting. Rock painting was the only source to know about this culture. So we have the only source to know about the Stone Age, that is the rock. The earliest evidences to know about the rock painting, we found we found from the Bhimbetka. Bhimbetka, this place is in the Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh, on the bank of river Narmada. Okay, so this was the earliest evidences to know about this Stone Age. And the first archaeologist who found these caves, he was Wakankar. He was the first archaeologist who found these caves. So Wakankar, um, it was a contribution of the Wakankar. He found the Bhimbetka caves. And this Bhimbetka caves, this was the natural caves. This was the natural caves. because the earliest human beings were started to settle on the uh, foothills of the mountains river, foothills of the mountains area. This was the first place, or was the first caves where they started to settle in this area. So that is the reason the earliest evidences we found from the Bhimbetka. And so that was the reason the earliest human beings, he was in India, he was known as the Hathnora man. Hathnora man we found from the Hosangabad, Madhya Pradesh. Hosangabad from the Madhya Pradesh region. Okay, now I am going to discuss the stone culture, material culture. The stone is the next section of this stone is this is the material culture. Okay, the Paleolithic age, Mesolithic age, the Neolithic age, and this Paleolithic age again classified into three parts: lower Paleolithic age (LPA), middle Paleolithic age, this is the MPA, upper Paleolithic age, this is the UPA. Okay. In the lower Paleolithic, middle Paleolithic, and the upper Paleolithic age, so this was the classification of the Paleolithic age. Okay. And now, in this lower Paleolithic age, the stone or the material culture is known as the core culture. This is called the core culture. In the middle Paleolithic age, the flake culture, and in the upper Paleolithic age, we have the evidence, or the material culture is known as the blade culture. Okay. So this is about the Paleolithic age. The lower Paleolithic age, the material culture is known as the core culture. Why it is known as the core culture, and why the flake culture and the blade culture, one by one, I am going to discuss. Actually, in the Paleolithic age, the first point, the stone tools were unrefined. Stone tools were unrefined. The bigs in the shape and the size. Okay. So now I am going to discuss the core culture. Core culture. Core culture they use during the lower Paleolithic age, through the they met through the heating process. means the big stone piece were heated by the another piece of the stone, another piece of the stone, and the upper layer were removed. So the inner layer were used as the tools, and this is called the core, right? So when the through the heating process, when the bigger piece of the stone were heated by the another piece of the stone, and when the upper layer were removed, the inner layer were worked as the stone tools during the lower Paleolithic age, and this is called the core technique. Now I am going to discuss the flake. This is only about the Paleolithic age. Okay, the flake technique. Again, in the flake technique, through the heating process, the upper layer were removed, and then the inner layer were worked as the tools, and this is called the flake technique. Okay, so this is about the flake technique. And again, so in the middle Paleolithic age, they use the flake technique. The same process for the heating process. The upper layer were removed, the inner layer were worked as stone tools, and this is called the flake technique. And again, in the upper Paleolithic age, they use the blade technique. The blade technique, the people's, the earliest human being use the blade technique. In this technique, again, through the heating process, a sharpened the one edge, so this is called the blade technique. And also The major important things which I just wanted to share with you. In the Paleolithic age, in the Paleolithic age, the earliest human beings, they only use the quartzite stone tools, quartzite stone. This is the variety of the stone, variety of the stone. But during the Upper Paleolithic age, this is the uh, this blade technique, this use in the Upper Paleolithic age. In the Upper Paleolithic age, they also use in UPA, Upper Paleolithic age, the earliest human beings use the wood tools along with the stone tools, wood tools along with the stone tools. And also during the Upper Paleolithic age, the people use the bone tools, bone of the stag. So the earliest evidences of the bone tools we found earliest evidence of the bone tools we found from the Chirad. Chirad is in the Bihar. So this was something about the material culture of this Paleolithic age. Okay, so this was something about the Upper Paleolithic age. The technique, material culture is the known as the blade technique. Overall, in the Paleolithic age, the earliest human beings, they only use uh, quartzite stone tools and along with the wood tools, and also in the Upper Paleolithic age, and the bone tools, the stag antler horns, right? Stag, or you can say this is the antler horns. Okay, this is something about the core culture in the lower Paleolithic age, and in the flake technique. This was in the flake technique in the middle Paleolithic age. In the middle Paleolithic age, and the blade technique in the Upper Paleolithic age. So this was the something about the material culture, right? Okay. So this was something about the core technique, flake technique, and the blade technique during the Upper Paleolithic age and the Paleolithic age. The majorly during the Paleolithic age, they use the quartzite stone, quartzite stone, whereas in the Mesolithic age, they use the chert, jasper, and the flint. Chert, jasper, and flint. This was also the material culture, a variety of the stone. Whereas in the Neolithic age, they use the igneous rocks, igneous rocks. Okay, right. In the Mesolithic age, they made the stone tools majorly 3 to 4 centimeter, and the major stone tools during the Mesolithic age, uh, arrowhead and the spearhead. The first arrowhead and the second, this is the spearhead, right? Whereas in the Neolithic age, they have the knowledge of the silt technique, means to curve the stone tools, means they made the stone tools with the handle during the Neolithic age or during the igneous rocks, right? They use the tools with the handle of the Neolithic age. So this was the material culture of the Paleolithic age, Mesolithic age, and the Neolithic age, right? The different uh, stone tools I have discussed of the Mesolithic age, Paleolithic age, and the Neolithic as well. And also, I have discussed the sources to know about this Stone Age and the classification or evolution of the human beings, and also the part of the Stone Age, and why this age is known as the Stone Age. And now I am going to discuss the geographical location of the different phase of the Stone Age, right? Okay. Okay. The geographical location of the Stone Age. One by one, I am going to discuss this point. During the Paleolithic age, during the Mesolithic age, and also the Neolithic age. This is very interesting topic. Just try to understand. In the Paleolithic age, the peoples of the during the Paleolithic age were started to settle in the foothills of the mountain region. Okay. Initially, the peoples started to settle in the foothills of the mountain. Why? It has some important reason. One by one, I am going to discuss this point. Just try to understand. Because the river were very narrow, so easy to cross and easy to settle. Second, the natural caves were available. They were completely unaware about the northern plains region, because in the northern plains the rivers were very wide, and they have no any technique to cross the rivers. So that is the reason they initially they started to settle in the foothills of the mountain region. And also the stones were available in this region. Stones were available in this region. Forest were less dense. Okay. So that is the reason they started to settle in the foothills of the mountain region. And that was the reason the earliest evidences of the Paleolithic age, or the earliest human beings, or the you can say the rock painting, we found from the Bhimbetka. So due to this, the earliest evidences of the caves, or the natural caves, we found from Bhimbetka. This was the reason why in the Paleolithic age they started to settle in the foothills of the mountains. Now I am going to discuss about the Mesolithic age. Okay, the Mesolithic age. The Mesolithic age, the peoples now move to northern plains and the earliest evidences we found from the Talpi and Bagor. Bagor is in the Rajasthan, Talpi in the Uttar Pradesh, Bagor is in the Rajasthan, Adamgarh. Adamgarh is in the Madhya Pradesh. Mahadaha. Sarai Nahar Rai. This two place is in the Uttar Pradesh region. So they started to settle in the northern plains region, and actually in the Paleolithic region, Paleolithic age, the foothills of the mountain river, the foothills of the mountain river was not the flood prone river. Okay. So in the Mesolithic age, they started to settle in the northern plains region, and the earliest evidences we found from the Kalpi, and this was the first place where the earliest evidences of the Mesolithic age, the settlement of the earliest age of the Neolithic age. This is the first phase, and then second, and gradually they move to the in different places. Right? Okay, and now in the upper Paleolithic age, in the upper Paleolithic age, they used to settle in the entire Indian subcontinent. So also we have the evidences from the Jammu and Kashmir region. Okay, so from the Jammu and Kashmir area, we have the evidences of the upper, uh, not upper Paleolithic age. Uh, okay, so this is the Mesolithic age, and now this was the Neolithic age. Right? So we have the evidences from the Jammu and Kashmir region. In the Jammu Kashmir region, we have the evidence of the pit dwelling. Right? So this is something about the geographical settlement in these different places. Right? Okay. So this is something about the Neolithic age. Okay. So now I have completed the geographical settlement of these different places of the Stone Age, Paleolithic age, Mesolithic age, and the Neolithic age. Right? Okay. And now I am going to discuss, okay, the socio-cultural status of the uh, different phase of the stone age we will discuss in the next slide. Okay, thank you. Now class is over. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Sir, sir. Yeah.